ask.
Yeah.
I know you've been asked a million times.
Oh, I guess.
And it's weird because I genuinely don't know the story behind your scar on your head.
Yeah.
But it is something that I'm sure people will always ask you forever and ever.
Yeah, I always get it. Basically what happened when I was born, I was prematurely born by a couple of months. And so, I had to go into the hospital and put in an incubator and loads of operations going back and forth. Parts of my body weren't formed properly, so especially my intestines and such. So I had to go for a lot of tests, a lot of operations. And so one procedure, there was a woman, a nurse, who was supposed to do a procedure on my head, and she was supposed to feed the drip into my scalp. And I don't know how it was supposed to be done, but a particular procedure. And she just didn't do it right. So the fluid spilled out into my head. And immediately it was like, oh my gosh, obviously I don't remember anything about it, but when from my mum and her telling me it, there was just it was just a mad situation. And they were like, do you want to, after the whole situation, do you want to sue the hospital? Do you want to take them to court? But at the time, my mum herself, she had lost a lot of blood giving birth to me. She had almost died herself.
Wow.
So having that experience, experience happening, then let's go to court. It was like, no. So she was like, it's all right, it's fine. And so growing up, all I knew or remembered was going to Luton, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Having operations, going in to see the doctor, having stitches on my head continuously. It was a surreal experience because I didn't really clock into what was happening. I just knew I had to go to the doctors. I just knew there was something wrong with my head. And it was only, I guess, as usual, into the teens, that's when you're like, oh, wait a minute. How come nobody else has got the same thing on their head? How come I'm the only one? And there were times when I was like, this is a bit mad. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. I wrote a lyric saying, beautiful girls used to intimidate me because the scar told me that they're out of my league. There's no way that she could be looking at me. I need more steam to power my esteem. And so when I was met with, the whole situation of the opposite sex, it was like, forget that. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen for me. Because my scar, that rules me out completely. But it was totally the opposite because I would have lots of friends that were girls. I would have guys who were my friends they would protect me from anybody that would try to ridicule me, from anybody that would try to bully me. I saw people who were a little overweight get more bullied than me. Okay. Because people would always step in and to protect me. And I don't know I think that's how God set it up because now it kind of works to my advantage.
Well, I was going to say, something that I've noticed that is undeniable is that times have changed now. Yeah. I was having this conversation the other day with a friend of mine. Before, when you were in school, you obviously didn't have this issue, but you'd wear a skirt and tights. You get a hole in your tights, you have to take off your tights. But now, holes in your tights and jeans are cool, and kind of being different is cool. That is not something that's frowned upon. Yeah, I can see, obviously, growing up, that might have been a different situation for you. Was taking that into your music then, you said obviously it would come out in like your first EP and stuff like that. When was that time where you almost celebrated it? Do you remember that time specifically in a track or in an EP or do you remember a time when it kind of switched completely to a whole different thing?
I wrote a song called Lion King because there's a character called Scar in it, and I literally chart that process of being from the time of being in primary school and going to barbershops and Jamaican barbers saying, well, yeah, I can't speak. I know
you can hear it in your head, innit?
Yes.
Yeah,
but what happened to your head, boy?
Yeah.
I was like, it's just, what, somebody chop you? Somebody chop you with a machete? And then they would laugh with the next guy, and I'm like, just give me a fave.
Just cut my hair, please. Can I get level 2? I need to go.
But in that song, I charted that process of, it was difficult during those periods, but there's a period when I went to New York and I put this in the song. And I remember it was for my birthday and I only went for like a weekend. And I walked past a Starbucks and there were some people praying in there. And I was like, I think I was just lost in the city that time. I was just, I think I wanted to do crazy stuff. Yeah. And I just felt God say, go in there and ask him to pray for you. And I was like, why am I going to go into ask? I don't know nobody in New York. I just literally went on my own. Went in there. I said, you know what? I'm new in New York. I'm just here for a few days. Can you pray for me? And they prayed for me. And I had gone to a recent hat shop during the day, and I bought a hat, so I was wearing a hat at the time. And they were praying for me. And then one guy said, you know, oh, while we were praying, like God showed us that, you know, he showed us like there was blood on your head and like a scar. I was like, okay. I was like, this doesn't make sense because I've got a hat on. How can you see my scar? And I took it off, and he was like, yeah. And he's like, God was saying that don't ever think it was for no reason, but it was for a purpose, and that just that on its own can draw many people to him. And I was like, that for me, in that period of time, and I put it in the song, it really solidified it for me that, you know what, it's not for no reason. Like, obviously it doesn't look like everyone else, but that's the uniqueness that you have. So celebrate that uniqueness. Let the weakness be the strength of what you have. And for me, when I go on stage, that is always, I'm not saying it's perfect, because there are times I have deep insecurities. It's not easy sometimes when I'm on stage and I'm like, I know how people, you know when you're in stage, when you're at a show and you see people go up, you already analyze everything that they're wearing and you make your own summations. So I already know that is in people, but I think you always have to look inside with yourself and be like, you know what, this is who I am, this is what I am, let's use that to empower others, you know, whether it's a weakness or not.